Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning, but it's not morning. So good afternoon. So, my friends, do you have any questions from the homework? Because remember, you have a quiz on that stuff. When? Tomorrow. Oh, I need to write it up here. Oh, yeah, because that one's old. Other than the ones that obviously I had mistakes in, do we have any questions? No? Okay. And I'm sorry, no, your tests aren't marked yet. They will be marked by Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna go with they will not be marked by tomorrow because I'm sort of trying to get. Oh yeah, they'll be marked by Tuesday. Yes. They might even be marked by Monday, but you won't be able to see them because they aren't there. Okay. Usually I like to take the middle of the 3-day weekend off. Like the first day I do like schoolwork and like housework. And then the second day I kind of do a little bit of schoolwork in the morning and then I kind of collapse for the rest of the day because I'm tired. And then the next day I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I have all these things I need to do for the next day. And so then I work again. We need 3-day weekends all the time because I need that one day where I can just do nothing and be a blob. They are the best days, I know. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at page 24. We're going to start working our way through section 2.2. Page 24. Decimal scientific notation to engineering notation, which we never use. Pardon me? Then you need to go and look up that model and find its manual. I would literally the manuals are all online. Go and look it up. It's worth it because if you have that, I got this one Canon calculator that it's not solar but it has that button and I'm like, yes. So good. I know, right? So nice. Yeah. All right. So multiplying numbers in scientific notation, this is without the calculator. Okay, so we are working without a calculator here. This is page 24. 24. So in order to multiply, you can multiply the coefficients. And then you can take your powers of 10 and add the exponents. Multiply the coefficients. You add the exponents of the powers of 10. And then you combine those two, and if it's not already in correct scientific notation, you put it into correct scientific notation, which you guys now know how to do. Yes? And of course, because we now know how to do calculations with Sig Figs, we also round to the correct number of Sig Figs. And we are using this general rule here that if you have something times 10 to the x times something else times 10 to the y, you multiply those coefficients, and then you take your exponents. Where did it go? There we are. And we just add them. I don't actually think you'll end up using this a lot because it's so much easier to do it on the calculator, but sometimes it's nice to have this as a backup. So we are going to learn it. Okay, so if we have our numbers here, 3.42 times 10 to the 5 times 4.67 times 10 to the 5, we take our coefficients and we multiply them and we get 15.97. So that's this part, right? Gives us that. Now our exponents, I have an exponent of 5 and an exponent of 9. So 5 plus 9 is 14. So we're going to have 10 to the 14. So we have now 15.97 times 10 to the 14, right? That was multiplying our coefficients. And now we have our exponent here. Is that in scientific notation? No, why not? Yes? There's two numbers before the decimal, so we need to move our decimal so we have only one number. So if we move it over one position, from here over to here, did we make that coefficient bigger or smaller? Sorry, Gio, you have a, no? Okay, no worries. Did we make the 15 bigger or did we make the 15 smaller? We made it smaller. And we made it smaller by 1 power of 10, or 10 to the 1. Therefore, the coefficient, or sorry, not the coefficient, the exponent has to get bigger by 10 to the 1. And now we need to look at our Sig Figs. So we go back to our original numbers. And remember, when you're looking at Sig Figs, you can just ignore the powers of 10. So when we look here, we have 3 Sig Figs and 3 Sig Figs. Yep. So we would then have in our answer how many Sig Figs, because we're multiplying. We would have 3. Okay. So that gives us, we would then round to 3 Sig Figs. We look to the right, that's bigger than 5. So we round up, and that would give us 1.60. Is good? Okay. Similar thing. Oh dear, what have I done? I think I wrote the wrong example here. Yep, I wrote the same example, but it's not the same. So here, let me fix this. So this should be 2.93 times 10 to the negative 2 times 8.3 times 10 to the negative 5. Okay, so I wrote the example down wrong. Obviously, I was cutting and pasting and didn't do a very good job. So we're going to take the 2.93 and multiply by 8.3, and we get 24.319. Our powers of 10. We have a negative 2 and we have a negative 5. If we add those two together, what is negative 2 plus negative 5? Negative 7. So our exponent is going to be 10 to the negative 7. So all together, if we take these two parts together, we now have 24.319 times 10 to the minus 7. And you have to ask yourself, am I in scientific notation? No. What do I have to do to the 24 to make it in scientific notation? Move the decimal where? One place to the left. So now we have 2.4319 times 10 to the, this got smaller. So what has to happen to our exponent? Has to get bigger. So does that become -6 or does it become -8? -6, very good, okay? Am I done this question when I get to this point? No, because I still need to consider what? Sig Figs. Here we have how many? 3, and here we have 2. And so we say, okay, I need to have 2 sig figs. That's small, that 3 is smaller than a 5, so that then becomes 2.4 times 10 to the -6, and that would be our final answer. Okay? When you get questions like this, and there won't be any with scientific notation on your quiz tomorrow, okay? This is section 2.2. Section 2.1 is all the quizzes on it. It's very, very basic, okay? It's just the multiplying and dividing, the adding and subtracting with just normal numbers, okay? But when you get questions like this, usually on a quiz or a test, there will just be a blank, but I will provide you with either lots of space below or with extra paper so you can do all the writing out that you need to do, okay? Dividing in scientific notation, again, this is without using the exponent button on your calculator. You basically do exactly the same thing, except for in this case, you divide the coefficients. Okay, so you've got n times 10 to the x and m times 10 to the y. You just take your n and divide by m. And because we are dividing instead of adding the exponents, what do we do with them? We subtract them. Okay, so we've got x and y, and we do x minus y. That's how exponents work. Okay? So let's take a look at this one here. We have 8.0 divided by 2.0, and I'm sure I've worked it out below, but I'm just going to show it here. So I'm going to take 8 and divide by 2. What do I get when I take 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. And I want it to be times 10 to the, now what do I need to do? I've got a -3. Am I going to add or subtract -2? I'm going to subtract -2. How do I subtract -2? Well, that is the same as, yeah, so okay, so that's going to be +2. So -3 plus 2 is -1. Okay? And then I look at that and I'm like, is that in scientific notation? No? It is in scientific notation. We have one digit in front of the decimal just isn't there. What's the other thing we have to think about? Significant figures. How many do we have here? About 2, or maybe exactly 2. How many do we have down here? 3. And so our answer should be 2 sig figs. So how would I write 4 times 10 to the 1 with 2 sig figs? 4.0 times 10 to the 1. Okay? Okay, here we have another one. 3.45 divided by 1.20. If I do that part of it, I have a calculator here. 3.45 divided by 1.2 is, and we get 2.875. So that's that portion right there. Times 10 to the, and I'm going to take my 2 and I'm going to subtract -5 because I'm dividing. So I'm going to subtract my exponents. So that is now going to be 2.875. Actually, I could do this here. What is this equal to? 2 plus 5, yes, because when I subtract -5, it's the same as adding +5. And so 2 plus 5 is 7. So I now have times 10 to the 7. Is that in scientific notation? Yep, about, or exactly. What else do you have to ask yourself? Is it in significant figures? Let's see what we have here. How many do we have up top? 3. How many on the bottom? 3. So our answer should have 3. So we are now going to look to the right and we're going to say, what's that number there? It is a 5. What do we do when we have a 5? We round up. So that's going to become 2.88 times 10 to the 7. Okay. You can somewhat shorten the process for both dividing and multiplying by rounding to the correct sig figs early, but it doesn't really matter where you round. Okay. I'm actually not going to go through that because I feel like we're probably not going to spend much time doing this. How about you guys do the first, how about you do 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10. Okay, just spend a couple minutes doing those, and then we're going to move on. Okay. And don't be shy about using scrap paper. If you need to, there's lots of it right after it belongs. Oh yeah, that's rounded wrong. Yeah, so number 4. Did I double round? Oh, I double rounded? Good Lord. I'm horrified with myself, actually, to be honest. Oh no, I just forgot a digit. I didn't double round, I forgot a 4 when I was moving my decimal. Yeah, that's, yeah, I forgot 4 when I moved to decimal. Yeah. So folks, number 3 and number 4 on page 27. The answer key is wrong. I put the corrections on the board. Thank you for your patience. You can bring it over many you want to, because you know you're going to be coming to later anyway. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to cut you off there. You can go back and practice more of those if you want later. But there is actually an easier way of doing this on your calculator than the way we did it just previously. However, it's good to know that, because every once in a while you will forget a calculator and you'll have to borrow one from somebody and you won't know how it works, and you'll be like, well, at least I can revert to that other method, okay? But there is a magic button on your calculator, and if you are in physics, you have probably already been taught about this magic button, but if you are not, you probably don't know about it yet, okay? And this button, so make sure you have your calculator out, will either be labeled EXP, or it will be labeled EE, or it will be labeled 10 to the times 10 to the x, not just 10 to the x, but times 10 to the x. Make sure if you cannot find that on your calculator, raise your hand and I will help you find it. Yes. Anyone else see a hand finding it? Yeah, so that's the one. Okay. Anyone else need a hand? It's okay, but like honestly, I always am looking for things and they're like right here. Okay, this is the button you use for scientific notation. This is the scientific notation button. You should not be using this caret. You know, the little one that looks like that? Do not use that. That's a bad one. Okay? Do not use the X to the Y button. Do not use that when you're doing scientific notation. Those buttons are for other purposes, but they are not specifically for scientific notation. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23 is a really big number. It's a number in Unit 5 that you will become super familiar with. It is the number of particles in 1 mole of particles. So if you are going to type this on your calculator, you will literally punch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons. Okay? 6.02, that part's easy. Everyone punch that into your calculator. 6.02. And then you're going to press either, whichever one your calculator has, EXP or EE or times 10 to the X, and then 23. And you can press equals and it will probably say something, and I've got a few images that I'll show you in just a moment. Some calculators might just have it like this, where they have the power of 10 up there and they don't show you that it's a power of 10. So that might look like 6.02 and then the calculator would have a little 23 up there. Some of them have like in tiny, tiny font down at the bottom, times 10. Some of them do that. Let's see how other calculators show it. Here's one. If you type this in on a calculator, it might appear like this on your calculator. Okay? This would mean 4.6 times 10 to the 29. Okay? 5.78 times 10 to the 3 will often just pop up as 5,780. So why don't you actually try punching that one in? Try punching in 5.78 and then whichever button you have, the EE, the EXP, or the 10 to the X, and then 3. And then press equals and see what you get. Hopefully you get 5,780. And if you're not getting 5,780, call me over. We're good? All right. So I spend a lot of time saying no. Okay? No, do not use the caret. No, do not use the X to the Y. There's like images all over here. I got a little carried away. All right? And I'm like, oh, yes, use the EXP button. Yes, use the EXP button. Okay? See what we got in there. Oh, look, there's more no's. Do not use this little X to the box. I don't even know what that is. Okay? Don't use that one. Yes, use the little one that says times 10 to the X, if that's the one you have. Do not use that 10 to the X one that's above the log. That's a different button altogether. That doesn't mean times 10 to the X. It means you're going to raise 10 to the power of whatever you've just put in. Okay, it does something different. Don't use it. So don't use that button. Sometimes The EE button will be up top above another button, in which case you'll have to press the second function key. Okay, most of you, I don't think that's the case, but occasionally it does happen. I know on at least the older versions of the TI calculator, I don't know if this is still the case, but on those ones you used to have to press the second function button, which is this one here, before you press the EE, which is on top of the comma. You still have to do that. See, that's why I don't like those. I mean, they're great for math, but they do, it's kind of stupid for, I wish they had a button where it was just like EE, you know, it'd be nice. Okay, no carets, no logs. Okay, like I said, I got really carried away. No carets, no logs. Do not touch the log button, do not touch the caret button. So, magic button, there we go. Here are some errors that might occur if you use your calculator incorrectly, because this is what people want to do. They see 4, so they type in 4, and then they see divided by, so they type in divided by, and then they see 2, so they type in 2, and then they see a times, so they type in times. But the problem is the moment you type in times, your calculator thinks you're doing this. 4 divided by 2 times, and it puts the times up top. Yeah, that's what your calculator thinks. It doesn't think the times sign is down here. This times, it's just like, oh, you must mean times. I'm taking 4 divided by 2, and then I'm multiplying it by something. I'm not dividing. Okay, so if you do that, you will have taken, and then you type in 10 to the 3, you're going to end up with 4 divided by 2 times 10 to the 3, whereas you wanted 4 divided by 2 divided by 10 to the 3. You wanted 10 to the 3 in the denominator. But by not using that caret and typing in all those extra times 10 business, you avoid that mistake altogether. Okay? You could fix that mistake if you wanted to by also putting brackets around that and using the times 10 caret 3, right? Bracket. Yes? However, let's compare. This does the bracketing for you. Okay, that says 2 times 10 to the 3. All of this means 2 times 10 to the 3. Okay, whereas to do it up here, you would have to type all of this to mean 2 times 10 to the 3. And if you forget a bracket, then you're going to get a wrong result. So would you rather type 1, 2, 3 things, or would you rather type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things and possibly forget a bracket and maybe get it wrong? Which one sounds better to you? I'm hoping it's the 3 characters where you will not get it wrong, okay? The other thing is that if you use the times 10 caret whatever, chemists and physicists will mock you for not knowing how your calculator works. Like if you go to university and you're still using that, like honestly, if I were your professor, I would make fun of you, right? Grade 11, I won't make fun of you. I'll be like, oh, remember the exponent button. But by the time you've gone through grade 11 and 12 and in a university, you would deserve mocking, okay? Because that's like 2 years later, right? Don't worry, I won't mock you this year. I'll just remind you, it's all good. Next year, I might mock you a little bit, yes, because you'll have had like a whole year to learn. Okay, so here is another way. This is just explaining why it works. I'm just going to skip that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, maybe I won't skip it, because sometimes people will type this into their calculator, and this is another place where you can just go wrong. If I wanted to take 24 and divide by 3 times 4, Yes? If I type in 24 divided by 3, it will divide by 3, but then when I write times 4, it doesn't think that times 4 is down here. It thinks that times 4 is up on top. Yeah? So what you wanted to have is you wanted to have 24 divided by 3 times 4, which is 12, which is equal to 2, and that's what, if you just did that in your head, that's what you would get, yes? But if you type this into your calculator, you're going to get it wrong because it's going to go 24 divided by 3, which is 8, right? And then it's going to multiply it by 4 times 4, and that would give you 32, which is obviously not the same answer as 2. Yes? 2 ways to fix that. You can put brackets around the bottom part, and then your calculator will know, oh, you wanted to divide by all of this, so now I'm going to divide by 12 instead of dividing by 3 and then multiplying by 4. That's one way to do it. But if you want to save yourself a little time, and if your brain will allow you to do this, some people it takes a little while to get there, so don't worry if it's not there for you yet. You can just type 24, and you can type divided by 3, which will divide by 3, and then you can just type divide by 4, and it will divide by 4. Because we have 24 divided by 3, which gives us 8, and then we divide by the 4, which we also want in the denominator, and that will give you 2. Okay, for some of you that's going to be intuitive. For other people, you'll be like, I don't get it. Just continue using the brackets if that makes more sense to you for ones that are not involving scientific notation. Okay. This one looks horrible. I'm not quite sure why I put that in, but I think yeah, let's just skip that one. That's too complicated. You can read it if you want to. Here's one thing that people also do. They learn about the magic button. They're like, I know about the EE button. I'm going to use it. Ms. Spence will not mock me. Yay. But they'll still type times 10 before that. This button means times 10 to the power of something. Yes? So this bit here, okay, all of this means times 10 to the 2. So if we put in this extra times 10, then we're saying 7.3 times 10 to the 2, which is 7 times 10 to the 3. So if you put that times 10 before the EE button or the EXP button, you will get an extra power of 10, and you don't want that. Okay? So if you use the EE button, which you should, for that EXP or times 10 to the whatever, do not type times 10 before it. Okay? Other things you should know. The negative button is different from the minus button. They do different things. Okay, minus subtracts things. Yes? The negative button changes the sign. So a negative button might look like a negative sign in brackets. It might also look like a change sign button where it says plus minus, or I've seen some where it's got like the plus minus and little arrows that are like this way, that way, woo. Okay. The minus button, which is the one you've been using since elementary school, is a different button. Okay. So if you want to change the sign, if you want to make a power negative, for example, if you want to say 10 to the negative 30, you are going to use this button here, okay? This one here, not the minus button, okay? The plus minus button, not the just regular minus button. That's if you want to make something negative. Okay, you can see there's all sorts of different plus minus buttons. And why don't you just try some of these? If you feel like you're not 100% comfortable with it, you can start with numbers 1, 2, and 3. If you're feeling like I'm totally good with this, just do the second column, numbers 8 through 14. Okay? And remember, you will still be looking for significant figures at the end of it. So once you plug in your thing and get your result, you're going to have to round to the correct sig fig. So give those a try. You can try numbers 1 through 7 if you're just getting started, but if you feel confident, you can just do 8 through 14. Is there anyone who needs a calculator? Nathan, are you awake? Do you need a calculator? Are you awake? Do you have a calculator? Would you like to borrow a calculator? Okay, very cool. I hear you. It happens. Okay. Yes. Yeah. not need brackets on your calculator. So you go, page 41, maybe for page 41. Do not use brackets. If you're using brackets and you'd like to see how to do it without brackets, call me over. I can help you. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh. So folks, if you end up with an answer that's like 0.000000002, that doesn't mean that that's your answer. There are digits after the 2, but they have fallen off the edge of your calculator, yes? So there are 2 ways to solve that problem. One is to look up how to change to scientific mode on your calculator, which means you go and you look up your model number. This would be like the EL-531XT, and you look up the manual and you look up scientific notation. The other way is to take your answer and multiply by 1,000. And then you say, oh, I have 2.38, or multiply by 10,000, and just remember you need to change your decimals afterwards. Okay? Yeah, so I would say it would be best if you would go and look up like how to choose it on your calculator. Yes. Or you could do it this way, where you this is where you multiply by 4.2 and then find out. Do you know what I mean? I was fine. Yeah. I'll be right with you. So if everybody could try, was that number 4? Number 5. If everyone could try number 5, just to kind of make sure that you have, if you'll see that problem turn up, if it's going to turn up. It's not. Okay. So we have, and it will move things around for you. Okay, but not necessarily in a way. Okay, so maybe it'll be that or okay. So I was writing 3.78 times 10 to the four negative 6. Then I have to add 3 more numbers because I multiplied by an operation. Okay, so it's going to be negative 9. Yeah, so if you do that, multiply that out, you have to add. Yes, divided by 9. How are we doing? Questions? What's that? I know. I have to say, these calculators are $10 at Staples. They're little, and they just everything just basic. Like it's just a nice calculator. Some people don't like it because you can't see everything you've typed in. So if you prefer to see everything you've typed in, this one here is another 2 points. Sometimes it's on sale at Staples. Okay, so these are 2 models that I highly recommend if it's cheap. And this one is the Sig Figs together, and this is so very nice. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've used that one. It's all right, but what he wants to do. Oh, and it's got the second function. Yeah, that was bothering me just to start with. I'm like, I don't want to have to press the second function in order to do this. Yes, yes. Well, anyway. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a bad calculator, but it does have that issue. Yeah. Okay, so let's If you are done at this point, I would highly recommend that you spend a few minutes looking up your calculator's model on the internet and finding out how to turn from decimal notation, standard notation into scientific notation and back. And I would like for you to write it down in your book. There's actually a place for it. And where did I put it? (2.0e). Okay, down at the bottom, it actually says record how to switch between modes. One is known as fixed decimal, which is standard notation, and the other one is scientific notation. And even if you're not done at this point, it might be worthwhile taking a few minutes to do that. It's such a useful thing because, you know, I just had someone whose calculator spit out the number 0.000000. You're like, what do I do with that? I wish my calculator would put this into scientific notation so I could see what my actual number is. I unfortunately do not know the ins and outs of all the calculators, so you will want to go look it up. So look up your model number and look up scientific notation and fixed decimal, and see how to switch between those. The monitor will just be on there. We have a price deal at $300. Yes. 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 Yeah, so like let's say, did you find it? Oh. Yeah. But if you ever run across that problem, know that you can. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you did this times that divided by that. Okay, so that's minus 27 minus 5. Yeah. Because when you multiply, you get oh yeah, or which is the same as 22 minus 5. And then you go plus 5. Or sorry, yeah, minus 5. Minus 5 because you're dividing two fractions. Oh, yeah. So folks, homework is just A, study for your quiz, B, go through the pages that we did today, and finish them up if you need to. If you're totally fine with it, you don't need to finish everything. Okay? I will write that up on Teams so you know which pages it is. Okay? And I guess we only have 10 minutes, so I don't want to teach anything new because some people are still working on stuff. So feel free to keep working. Big math test? That's your, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Blinding. Feel free to look. Yeah, like help yourself. Go through there. Yeah, I do have a lot of calculators. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. See you later.
I have a poster about the guy from Breaking Bad.
Because Heisenberg gave himself that name after the scientist Heisenberg, who had an uncertainty. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. So yeah, if you want to sign out, no, probably Monday or Tuesday rather, because we have a holiday. Yeah. Huh? Well, partly I'm trying to balance the fact that I need to get your passport, but I also need to get your next book out of publication. Oh. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do that first, because that's what it is. I need 2 weeks to work on that. Right? So yeah. For going over the test. Thank you. Not for this class. For some other class. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, that was a 1. That means you stop talking now. Okay? You got from 5 to 1, stop talking. I love you guys, but you're like the noisiest group I've had in like years. I'm trying to think back. I may have had a group this bad once. It was also an 11-year itch class. Well, sometimes, but when I'm trying to get your attention, it's not so good. And we are in such a time crunch that spending 5 minutes getting your attention 3 or 4 times a class is just a waste of time. Yes? So, we are going to spend the first part of class. If you have a pink sticker on your desk, it means you were randomly the first person on a list. Okay, that is going to be your group with which you will get some copies of the test and you're going to go over it together. You don't move on to the next question until every person in the group feels good about question number 1. Okay? And then same thing for question 2. We are going to do this for 20 minutes. So we are going to finish at 18. Okay, so go find your group and then come grab some test papers. Test papers. How do I do that? Never mind. No? Okay. Yeah.
Yo, if you're in our group.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can take as many copies as you need because there's lots and people don't have to read upside down. Okay, carry on. That was super scary. We are just going over it in a group, yeah. And we're just going until everyone understands question one.
Oh wait, I'm good. I got two. Oh, wait. I saw Adam. Yo, how would we got like yo. That's all. You should be able to know what to answer.
Oh, octane.